Hey everybody, Mr. Boogyboo here, coming to you with another LEGO City update. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different than my normal overviews of Bricksburg. I'll still be doing one of those later in the month, but today I'm going to focus on my track because I get a lot of questions from you guys asking me how I built the track, where I got the idea from, how it all fits together. This is track. All the time I get questions about the track. So this video hopefully will give you a little more insight into how I went about doing what I did here. So as you can see, and as you've seen, if I move in, you can see a little bit over here. So this is the design that I actually decided on after spending a lot of time online looking at various techniques that people have come up with, and I couldn't come up with my own that I liked that was better than this design right here. And this is actually the Penn Lug user group in Pennsylvania came up with this design. I think it's a beautiful design. It looks really amazing compared to the standard Lego track, which, you know, we all know what that looks like. Like this kind of stuff where it's the gaps are too big with the ties and the spacing, and it just looks kind of weird. This, I think, is a much better, more realistic looking track. Now, but as I mentioned in the past, it's also, the downside to this is that it's very brick intensive. It takes a lot of bricks to make this kind of track. And I'll show you kind of a little bit more detail on how exactly I make the track so you can see for yourself just what goes into it. Now, as I mentioned before, the other important thing that I'll note, which this Penn Lug standard adheres to, is it's entirely modular. And so my whole track layout down below here is modular as well. So you can kind of see that if you look, for example, this right here is a 16 by 32 piece, and the track sections actually line up exactly. So like a standard straight piece is 16 studs long, and that lines up exactly on the 16 by 32 base plate. Same thing with the curve. The curve lines up into that as well. The end of the curve is right on the end of the 16 wide plate on the far side there. And there's a slight overlap over here because this actually connects to the switch, but it all fits together really nicely. And actually, if you could take this whole like switch piece, for example, with the return curve on the end, it fits nicely on a, oh no, I have to math in my head. Help me out, guys. What is that? Be a 32 plus 16, 58? Yeah, is it 50? No, 48. Math is not my strong suit. 48 by 32 base plate, basically, which is a 32 by 32 and a 16 by 32. But the whole thing will fit neatly in that space, and so it makes it modular. Now, my wall design, which you can actually see in progress here where I'm working on it, it also is modular as well. So the wall pieces fit within the parameters of those plates. So this is a 32, well, actually it's a 40. It's actually technically it's a 48 because this is all one piece because of the angle I have on the wall. But all these other pieces fit on the 32 by 32 or a 16 by 32 as the case may be, all the way down the line here. All those walls fit in those spaces, and so I can easily move stuff around. I can get access to things behind there if I need to. Whatever I need, I can do it pretty easily. Now, let's go over here. So you can see kind of how my layout's going. What I decided to do in this area, and this is where I'm kind of working on it. If you've seen on Instagram, I've been posting pictures of this. It's still a work in progress. Now, the one thing I did do is because I have a very limited space, so you can see here kind of the depth of my table. So this depth is pretty much the minimum depth required to fit a return loop of standard Lego track. So this is where the loop starts, and this actually goes all the way around to the back, which you can't see because the platform's on top, but it actually loops around, and then it actually goes all the way down, and it pops out and loops around again on the other side here and pops out through the tunnel. Trains are actually running in Bricksburg now, which is really cool, and I'll show that in my next city update. But in the meantime, you can see kind of what I got going on here. Now, what I want to do is I want to go this way off of this turn right here and go out and around and then continue on this way through to Ninjago Land and the side and all that good stuff. That's kind of something I have in the works. Now I have a solution that I found. It's a third-party solution. There's a website, 4dbricks.com. They actually make custom Lego track. It's not official Lego track, but it's pretty close to the real thing. And they actually have a Y switch, which I've purchased 2 of them, and I'm waiting for them to show up. And hopefully they'll be here any day now. That actually fits perfectly within the standard Lego curves. And so there's going to be a Y, and you can see how I kind of have it prototyped out with a turn going that way and then that way. And then that's going to hopefully fit and work out nicely for me. And so I'll be able to get everything situated. But back to the track. So if I go pan over a little bit more, you can see these are some of the modules that I created. And this one in the front here, particularly I want to focus on, because this one, I actually have it set up so you can actually take the track off and you can kind of see how it's designed. So this right here is the track piece itself. So the standard Lego track is here embedded. And then basically what you have is you have some 2x8 plates that sit on the sides here, like that. And then there's just whatever, you can put whatever color you want on the bottom here to fill this in these gaps. And then there's 2x4 plates in between the sections here. And you can kind of see, if I compare the two, you can kind of see how this all kind of works together. And then the ties, because obviously the ties won't fit, they'll be off if there wasn't anything here. If there wasn't a 2x4 dark bluish gray plate in the middle between each of these, the ties would be off. So this way the tie spacing is perfectly set up, and you can see how that piece works. Now, for the base below, you can also see how it works. So it's basically just simple. I use, because I have a ton of 1x4 plates, so I use those as kind of the bottom edge of the ballasting, and then it's just these little 1x2 plates that actually hold the track in place, and then just tiles underneath it. So it fits really nicely, and it floats really well, and it just literally just snaps into place, and that's how it works. Pretty simple. But as you can see, there's a lot of bricks that go into creating even a small little piece like this. It's the same thing for like a single track segment. Oh, and that was the other thing I was going to mention. So if you notice the spacing, so there's well, technically there's, 4 and then 8 in the middle and then 4 on the side, but it's perfectly spaced. So when you connect the pieces, they all line up and connect perfectly. And you can even connect like single, although you wouldn't really want to do that, but you could connect singles to doubles and doubles to doubles and switches and curves and everything like that. They all kind of fit together, and it's an entirely modular system, which is really cool. You can also do stuff like with the tunnels, like you see this piece here. So I created tunnels that go around it. This one I actually had to steal the track to use somewhere else. So you can see the sub road bed underneath it. Same idea. It's just tiles and plates that you use to build it up, and then these track pieces just pop onto the top of it there, and then that's your track. Now the really cool thing is if you go to lgauge.org, so it's l-gauge.org, they have instructions for all this stuff. So I printed these out because I'm a paper guy. I love like looking at, holding something and reading it. But they have instructions for all of the different pieces of track and whatnot that you'll use. And they also include a parts list. So you can get an idea. So for this simple return curve, you can get an idea of like the crazy amounts of parts you need. And that's actually just for the sub road bed. And you can see the instructions are really good. I mean, these guys did a great job. I love how they did all this. But you can see, it just goes step by step. It tells you what it's just like regular Lego instructions. And this is just for the sub road bed. And then you need to do, on top of that, you need to add more pieces for the actual track. The switch, this is like 18 pages, I think, of instructions. So you can see for like a switch, this is all the parts you need, which is like a crazy amount of parts. It's probably like, oh gosh, look at that, probably like 100 pieces here to make one of these switches. But it's pretty comprehensive. As I flip through, you can see how they do it. And it's pretty amazing how they do all this. You can go to their website. This is all free. It's awesome these guys do this. Give these guys major props for this, providing these instructions and for coming up with this standard, because it really, like I say, looks pretty darn good in my opinion. So as far as the layout goes, so that this just kind of gives you an idea. So obviously I still have to ballast here, but I'm just kind of still laying things out. So a lot of times for my design, how I design and plan things out is I just start laying track out. So if you have track at home, you can do the same thing. You know, figure out your space. If it's a table, if it's on the floor, it doesn't matter where it is, but just grab your track and just start laying it out and just kind of see how things fit. You can easily get an idea, you know, just kind of messing around and just playing with things. You can kind of, you know, get a feel for it. I knew, like, for example, I wanted double track for part of the run in the front here, so I wanted a siding so you could park a train and have another train go by. I knew I wanted the station. I knew I wanted a tunnel. And then kind of the design just kind of went from there. I knew I wanted the city up higher than the train tracks. And so then thus the retaining wall was born. And then I just literally started, you know, kind of working on this stuff. And what I did is I started building these modular pieces before I disassembled my original city. And so you can do, you know, the same type of thing. Just start messing around with the layout. Just start setting things up, moving pieces around, and see what you did. Now, if you see it on Instagram, I've had probably like 5 different ideas for this whole area over here before I came up with the Y with the loop, which again, I hope works. It may not though, and that's okay, because if it doesn't, I'll go back to the drawing board and I'll do something else. Now, one other thing I want to point out is Lego switches. So the stock Lego switches, as you know, come with this goofy return curve that bends back, and so it's perfect for sidings such as this. It's not so good if you want to do if you want to angle off to do, like, for example, if you wanted to put a switch here that went into a curve, you would have the little straight piece and it would look funny. So one thing that you can do, and actually I'll show you. So actually I have an example. So this is your standard Lego switch, and this is what I'm talking about, where this, instead of curving outward and going with the curve, this bends inward as if you're going to continue straight along the line here. And that's what you see here, over here on this siding that I did. So that's your standard Lego switch. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, what you can do is you can cut the Lego switches. So I've actually cut a few of these, and I know it's, oh my gosh, you cut the Lego, right? So you can see what I've done here is I've actually taken a Lego switch, I cut it right here, and you just got a simple hacksaw, and I actually made a jig out of old Lego bricks, so it was fairly straight. And then I cut a curve in half, and then this is literally just a 1x2 holding this together. And you can see it's not the neatest cut in the world. I'm not very good with a saw. I need to work on that. But now what I've done is I've actually made a switch that you could literally put right here, and see how it lines up with the curve perfectly? So it lines up with the reverse loop. Instead, if you use the stock Lego switch, I'll show you what happens. So if this is the standard Lego switch, if I put that one there, look what happens. See how the curve's going this way? So then you would have to, like, curve out here, and then you're kind of too far out, and then your curve's off, and nothing's going to line up right, and it's going to be all weird. Or you're going to have this like crazy little S curve, which is not good for keeping rolling stock on the rails and stuff. So this is one thing you can do. It's really easy to do. You just have to know exactly, like, where to cut it, and you can actually see from my design where I cut it here. You just literally cut it right on the line here, and I'll show you. This comes right off, see? So you literally want to cut it like that, cut a curve, and then you just tack them together, and then voila, you've got a nice return curve off the switch that flows perfectly with the stock Lego curve pieces. So, just something to consider. I know some of you don't want to cut Lego, so like there's other site, like 4D Bricks actually has these switches ready-made as well if you don't want to cut them yourself. And if you want to go like a third-party route, you can do that. They have these available with the right curve on it and not the straight piece like the standard switch. So you can do that as an option. It's just something I throw out there just for you to think about. So yeah, so that's kind of it. If you guys have more questions, let me know in the comments. If you have ideas or suggestions, let me know. If you're interested in those instructions, it's l-gauge.org. Go on there. They have like a wiki site, and you can click through and you can find the, it's like plans or instructions or something like that section of their website. And you can find all all of these instructions online. And there you can kind of see the name L.Gauge. You can find all these online. You can print them out. You can look at them. You can see, get an idea for the number of pieces you need. You can figure that out. There's really good software also out there if you want. 40 Bricks has some good software for designing the layout. You can also use Lego Digital Designer if you want to kind of make the layout yourself. Or there's what is it called? Blue Brick, Bluebeard, Blue Brick, Bluebird, something blue something. Type blue Lego into Google and it'll probably come up. Bluebeard, Blue Brick. You guys will tell me. Tell me what it is. What's the one I'm thinking of? Blue Brick, Bluebeard, as well. That works pretty well. And you can do that. You can play around, with the layout and design and just kind of, do that. One other thing I'll quickly mention is, so I used to have like a model, like scale model railroad, like HO, N-gauge trains, that whole thing. So you can actually do that. You can use a lot of the principles from that, which is what I'm doing to design the Lego railroad, because it's the same kind of idea. So don't be afraid to get ideas and I like look around. You can look in like Model Railroader magazine. You can look in real life. Look around if you have train tracks nearby. And you can get a lot of great ideas and see how the railroads do it. And you can kind of copy that and get, why they do certain things the way they do. There's a good reason for it. And if you want to kind of go for more of that, more realistic approach, which is kind of what I'm doing. I mean, I know it's toys and that's all good and all, but, I kind of want to have a little bit of like realism in it. So at least, it's kind of fun to like operate like a real railroad. You can get a lot of great ideas there. So, and most importantly, don't be afraid to experiment. That's like the best. So I hope you guys found this useful. Like I say, if you have questions, let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Or any ideas or thoughts. I love hearing what you guys have to say, because you guys have given me a ton of great ideas since I've been doing these videos. And so a lot of the inspiration that I get is from you guys, seeing what you guys are working on, hearing your thoughts on things and ideas that I'd never even thought of. So, and hopefully you'll get some ideas for your own layout from watching this video. So thanks for watching, and I will be back real soon with another big Lego update with running trains. Take care.